Sistas Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Danny M.
Hi, I'm your co-host, Asia Carroll. Thank you for joining us tonight.
And today we have special guest, Christine Kramer. And today we're going to talk about the topic of stress and gut health. So without further ado, Ms. Kramer, please tell the audience who you are and where you're from.
Thanks for having me, you guys. My name is Chris Kramer. I'm from southeastern Wisconsin, just a little bit west of Milwaukee. I'm a board certified functional wellness coach, so I help people take charge of their health.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Thanks.
What's in Wisconsin? I've never been there before.
Snow. Milwaukee is a pretty big city, so that's like probably the most well known. It's actually a really pretty state. There's a lot of places to hike, and there's a lot of parks and everything around. I live real close to the river, so I'd like to walk around there. We have cities, so it's not really boring, and it's not all farms and cows. So
nice. So we're talking about gut health. We're talking about stress, and a lot of people typically work a 9-to-5 job. There's a lot of entrepreneurs now, so some people are working full-time jobs and they're working their side businesses. What would you say about that amount of stress that we're putting on ourselves, like Monday through Saturday oftentimes, and we're eating badly because we're having to go from point A to point B quickly and we don't have time to cook. So we're picking up something at Burger King or whatever your local fast food restaurant is. How would you say it affects our digestion?
It's really funny because we think of stress as kind of like a normal part of life, and it is to a point. But we're still built like cavemen. I mean, we still, we still are built to, our systems are built to respond to stress in different ways. And, you could be, your body doesn't know whether you're running from a zombie or running from a predator, or whether you're just mad at your husband or in traffic. The stress response is the same. So when you get stressed out, your body actually shuts down digestion. It does what it's supposed to do. You're in fight or flight. So it thinks that you're going to have to run. And when you're running for your life, you're not going to sit there and have a hamburger.
That's true. So basically what it sounds like to me is our environmental stress really has a direct effect on our digestive system and its functionality. I personally went through a lot of stress when working in corporate America. It was a constant fight, bicker, and battling. And I had a lot of digestive issues. And I honestly thought that, it's probably in my DNA. There's just certain foods I can't touch. But now that I'm not in that environmental stress zone, I'm eating whatever I want to eat. And I can honestly tell the audience today, it's true. If you're constantly diving into stress every day from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, things are going to break down inside of you.
Absolutely. I actually have gone through a lot of adrenal fatigue and everything. When you get stressed out, your adrenals will get really tired, and it causes a lot of health issues. I was in a really stressful job. I didn't like what I was doing. And I also I was on reflux medications for years, which got messed up my digestion in general anyway. Add that to stress. I actually had both my hips replaced in the same year. It was like 5 years ago. So all of that added into just a ton of stress and adrenal fatigue. So, it's taken me a long time working on my digestion, I've gotten myself off the reflux meds, but years, like 5 years ago, probably taking me almost long to kind of work my way through all of that.
Interesting. Wow. I heard you. Oh, go ahead.
How did you know that you had issues with your adrenal system not working properly? How would a person know that?
Well, I've had with my health coach training, I've learned a lot about it. So I kind of knew some of the symptoms. Originally, what happens when your stress level goes up is your cortisol is high. Your cortisol is a stress hormone, and that is high for a while, and your body can handle that for a little while. But after a while, it just goes really low. And so it's called what we call a flat line. Your normal curve is to kind of go up right at the beginning of the day and then go down as you get towards the end of the day. But when you're in adrenal fatigue, it's like flat all the time. You're exhausted. You literally feel like doing absolutely nothing. You feel like you're in a fog. And there's a lot of different symptoms with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you
Is there a
say
test?
that? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is
No,
there
you're
a
fine.
test that someone can take to like at home to determine if they have adrenal fatigue before they go to a doctor, or do they need to go to a doctor for blood testing?
You can do it either way. There is a blood test. The test that I've learned is probably the best bet is a dried urine test. And that is a kit that you have at home. You have to get it through a practitioner. I do have an account where I could get that type of kit, but you can get it through a functional medicine doctor too. And it measures you just do urine samples like 5 different times during the day, and it measures where your cortisol is.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. I was
There's
just
also
going to ask
a
you,
salivary test too that does saliva too.
so you can check your levels with your saliva?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, we're learning a lot.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, I guess, so environmental stress can cause your body to attack itself. Like it could cause an autoimmune like response in a way. Would you agree with that or disagree?
That can be a factor. Stress can be a factor with autoimmune. It is kind of, I don't have my slides up here, but there's kind of like a trio of, I don't think I have the slides. There's like a trio of things that have to happen. So maybe an environmental trigger, it could be stress, it could be something else. It could be like kind of a family predisposition. And I can't remember the third one. But yeah, there's
It could
like
also
a bunch of
probably
different
be-
factors that can
It
happen.
could probably also be the diet as well, right? Because if we're not
Yes.
getting enough of prebiotics and probiotics, then we don't have enough diverse bacteria in the gut. You know, a lot of us kind of stick to one diet and it's not giving us exactly what we need. I mean, I'm guessing, right?
No, that is true. It matters what probiotics you're taking. Stress can also make what's called dysbiosis, which means it's an imbalance in the microbiome in your gut, the different microbes. There's good and bad, and actually they're both supposed to be there. But when you're in a high stress situation, the bad stuff can kind of do an overgrowth, which I also suffered from Candida Overgrowth, which is like it's like a yeast. But they're called opportunistic. So they'll take the opportunity to, kind of overgrow, and that kind of messes your system up too.
So what are some foods, I guess, people could kind of always have handy? Like, would you say bananas are considered like a prebiotic, avocado, or is it artichoke?
I would say, well, bananas are really high in sugar. So even though they're a healthy food, if you have any sugar issues, those aren't something that I would probably eat every day, just once in a while. Anything that's high in fiber. So yes, avocado. A prebiotic is food for probiotics. So it's food for the bacteria in your gut. So anything that has kind of fiber in it is a prebiotic.
Wow.
And that feeds the good probiotics.
That's so cool. I never knew that.
Yeah. Also, fermented foods will give you good probiotics. Yogurt is one of them, but that's not necessarily the best. That's probably the most well-known. Sauerkraut. Fermented foods like
I don't
kombucha.
like sauerkraut.
I love sauerkraut.
I don't either. So I don't like sauerkraut that's in like the can that you can just get.
Yeah.
But when I was going through the Academy for Culinary Nutrition, I actually learned how to make homemade sauerkraut, and it was actually good. So totally different. But yeah.
Well, invite us over. We'll come taste it and we'll be the judge.
There you go. Also, things like kombucha is like a brewed tea that has probiotics in it. Pickles, things like that.
The kombucha is kind of like a mushroom, right?
No, kombucha is a drink.
Yeah, the drink.
But I mean, doesn't it have the properties of a mushroom? I thought. I don't know.
I'm not sure about. I haven't heard about that.
I think it is. I know I've had it. I mean, it's like a mushroom, I think. It's fermented, right? Or you can create
fermented.
It. Yeah.
It's
weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I guess, to get it
exactly. Exactly. I actually have a coffee that I drink that has reishi mushroom in it, which is an adaptogen. So that kind of helps your body. It does what your body needs, is anything that's an adaptogen. And it actually has mushroom in it. And I always joke that that's the only way the mushrooms are going to pass these lips, because I don't like them.
And I actually love mushrooms. I don't like sauerkraut.
It's a texture thing for me. I don't like the sliminess.
It is a different texture.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah.
So, I have a lot of questions. you a chance to ask some
No,
questions.
you're fine. Go ahead.
But so what happens when you get diagnosed with something that you really don't have? Because your body, isn't it true? Your body can heal itself and regenerate those damaged cells and create, I guess repair it through the foods and vitamins that you feed your body. Is that true? Like, I mean, and then what do you do in that case? Because a lot of people have probably been misdiagnosed with the wrong things.
Mhm.
What's really happening is that they're probably not getting enough sleep. They're probably getting up every day, going into a stressful environment, and they're not eating probably. Like it's all self-inflicted and environmentally related, not necessarily something that's genetic is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Well, and that's kind of where a health coach or a functional medicine practitioner will come in. Like I've had a couple semesters at the School of Applied Functional Medicine. So we learn concepts where what that is you're looking for the root cause of things. So conventional medicine, they're going to give you a medication that will help with a certain condition. But what they're looking for is they're like, say diabetes. You go to the doctor, they say, your blood sugar is fine. All of a sudden, boom, you're diabetic. And you're like, well, where did this come from? But if you look back at your blood sugars over the years, it's slowly crept up in the normal range, quote unquote, normal range. But instead of finding that and saying, hey, you're heading towards this, you might want to change your diet so that it doesn't actually happen. The conventional medicine waits until it happens and then puts the medication on it.
You
You're
said
not
it.
finding that.
You're right.
That's right. What is truly actually causing it? Like some people will think acid reflux is caused by too much stomach acid, right? Because that's what all of the commercials say.
Yeah.
Actually, it's caused by low stomach acid. So another whole subject, but
well, how would you increase that stomach acid?
Right. I was just going to ask that question.
So there's a couple of things that you can do. The really easy thing that you can do is slow down while you're eating. So there's a couple of things that you can do while you're eating. Slow down, chew your food like it's supposed to be chewed. Don't just like rush through it and, scarf something down on the way to work. Exactly. So slowing down, chewing your food. One weird thing is that not watching anything on TV that's really stressful, because even just watching like, say, an action movie or something, that kind of can trigger your stress response, and that will help slow your digestion, so that it makes it harder for your body to digest food.
Wow.
There is a supplement called betaine HCl with pepsin that you can take, but that is something that you probably shouldn't just go and take because it can be harmful. You have to take it a certain way, so you should have somebody help you with that.
Wow.
Your digestion starts in your mouth, and that's the only voluntary way. It's the only voluntary way that you can help your digestion. Like your digestion is involuntary except for chewing. So you can just don't start it just by chewing your food well.
I know a lot of people that suffer from acid reflux too.
Mm-hmm.
You guys need to watch this show.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Get off that medication, man. Just chew your food. That's all you have to do.
Another thing to do is don't drink a lot of water while you're eating, because that'll dilute your stomach acid. So, like maybe 4 ounces or so is fine, or, if you have to, but if you chew your food well, you won't really need a lot of water. Just wash it down.
Wow. Too much of anything is bad for you. That's a very
Well, you can drink your water in the middle of meal, in the toilet, but don't do it while you're eating.
Okay.
I don't know if this would help with the show notes, but I do have an eating hygiene handout if that would be helpful for people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let them know where they can find that.
Well, this is powerful information, because I know personally doctors have told me, based on my condition, that I had to take acid reflux medicine the rest of my life.
Makes me so mad. Like,
wow.
And when I don't take acid reflux medicine at all, so basically what happened, I had an endoscopy done, and I have a really small throat, and the camera punctured my throat, my esophagus.
Oh no.
And thank God it closed on its own.
Wow.
But ever since then, I can't even drink water without acid reflux medicine.
Wow.
Are you
Well, and the
serious?
thing about acid reflux medicine is that it brings down your stomach acid so much that when you just stop taking it, it totally backfires on you. So you shouldn't just stop taking it completely. You need to wean off of it. You need to support with digestive enzymes. There's a lot of things that you need to do to be able to get off the medication. But yeah, it's crazy. And it's so bad for you. It's just really
Yeah,
bad for
it's
you.
really bad because I was fine before that. Like I had a little bit of acid issues, but once my esophagus was punctured from there, like my whole digestive tract was off.
Wow. Well, even on medication, there are things that you can do. Like let me share my screen for the eating hygiene handout.
Yeah, we're learning a lot.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a handout from the School of Applied Functional Medicine that she's allowed us to use. So it talks about slowing down, talks about chewing your food, prioritizing eating. So sitting down and actually sitting at a table and eating your food and not having anything like the TV or something to distract you, and then not drinking too much during meals. So there's actually the 2 pages there. Those are
really good.
Free. Those are options that are free to do, just to kind of help.
I love it. Thanks for sharing this.
Yeah. And what type of plans do you have? Do you have like a continuous plan for your clients where they do virtual sessions with you? Or do you give them like an email with a description of things they need to follow? How do you work with your clients?
So I start with a discovery call, which is just a free call to just discuss what the person's issues are, what questions they have, and what they might need help with. And then we can kind of see if it works to work together. I do have a set of fees and services. I have a program that's like a 3-month program that just is customized to the patient or the client. Sorry, I work at a doctor's office. I need to think client for health coach because I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying.
You work with clients?
The plans. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also have a practitioner for a national program called Shape Reclaimed. That's like a health restoration program that has a specific protocol. So I also can do just like a single session with somebody if they want. It's called a food and lifestyle review. If they want to just kind of have somebody look at what they're doing and give them some ideas on what to do differently, or just give them education on different things, then I can do that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
It's so funny because a lot of those rules are just basic things that we should do and should know. We know them, but we don't follow them.
Yeah.
I just think that's so funny. And that's what causes
But you kind of know, but you don't really know. Yeah. Yeah. It's just that life is so crazy that you just go on autopilot and you forget to actually think about chewing your food and getting sleep and doing whatever else you need to do.
Yes, that's so true.
Well, I forgot to mention I also do Reiki. So that is like it's a Japanese technique it helps with stress and anxiety, and it's kind of energy. It's really hard to explain to people who don't know what it is, but I can do that remotely. So just talking on the phone with the person. For a short time, and then we hang up, we do the session, and then get back on the phone. And it's been amazing, especially like hundreds and thousands of miles away, what kind of connection that can be. So
I love it. You took my question away. That's what I was going to ask you.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you, but I'll ask you something different now. Thank you for explaining that to the audience. I want to ask you the effects of meat, like in our diet. Would you say that meat is a little harsh in terms of when we think about our digestive functionality?
Well, it depends on the person. It can be. The jury's out on that. It depends on who you talk to. I incorporate meat into my food plan, but I also incorporate a lot of fruits and vegetables. So it gives you a lot of protein. The thing that is sometimes hard for people to digest is the protein. So the higher the protein, the more stomach acid you would need. So using those betaine HCl capsules, the more protein that's in the meal, the more capsules you may or may not need.
Got it. Okay.
Wow.
What about alcohol? Sorry.
Well, if you want to be really, really healthy, you shouldn't have any alcohol at all. But if you think about it, alcohol is a toxin, and so is actually sugar. And so your body will take care of that first. So whenever you have alcohol, your body's going to try and metabolize that first before anything else. So if you're mixing that with food, that can slow down your digestion.
Or speed it up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
That's something. So it's so many different things that you can do to make sure that your digestive health is flowing appropriately by just sitting at the table eating, not drinking a lot of water while you're eating, making sure that you're taking your probiotics and prebiotics. Those are simple things that we forget because of the hustle and bustle of life, you know?
Yep. That's why I've heard of people making food, like eating your meal at an event. So like think about, you have this, maybe you're having the dessert. Okay. So like chocolate covered strawberries, like savor your food. Don't just scarf it down. You want to make it kind of an experience. And actually when you're eating slower, you eat less food in general, you get full faster. And so then you don't eat as much, and people can lose weight sometimes when they do that.
Yeah. So I've heard that the suggestion of like eating a sandwich or a burger, if you take the bread off and eat it separately from the meat, and it'll make you get full faster opposed to eating the whole burger together. Is that accurate? I
haven't heard of that necessarily. I know that the lower carbs that you eat, carbs, your body will always digest carbs first. And so I don't know how to explain this. I haven't heard that specifically, so I'm not sure I could explain that to you.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
Well, I do know that gluten has an effect on my body personally. I didn't realize my gluten intake was huge, and I was getting huge as a result. And then once I realized that the gluten was affecting my digestive system, allowing me to retain water weight more so, then from there, I kind of it's not completely out of my diet, but I really have a minimum intake of gluten now.
Yeah, gluten can be really, really hard on your stomach. It can be hard on your digestion. There's a chemical in gluten called zonulin that can wreak havoc on your gut. Too much gluten can actually, I also would need more notes to kind of go through that, but I've gone gluten-free. I know that when I eat gluten, I gain 3 pounds in one day. I get rashes, I have, really bad gas, which is bad, all sorts of fun things that I'm like, what the heck? So I've actually eliminated it completely. But it can lead to leaky gut. And I don't know if you've ever heard about what that is before. Do you know what that is?
What is that?
So your gut lining has this little, it's called a brush border. So it's kind of like if you hold your fingers up and have your fingers together, that's what it's supposed to, you want to have a little bit of room in between them. But what happens when your gut kind of has some issues, it could be dysbiosis, it could be other things. It causes little gaps in that lining. And what happens is then little bits of food can get in there, and that can pass through into your bloodstream. And that can actually cause your immune system to say, hey, what's going on here? This is something that I don't recognize. And it can cause a response, which is what happens when you have a food sensitivity like gluten.
Wow.
And that can actually cause more food sensitivities too.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I decided to eliminate gluten primarily out of my diet. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, not everybody has that response. It can be that way with some people, but yeah, it's not necessarily that great of a thing to have a lot of.
That makes so much more sense to me now, because I was
trying for the visual.
Right?
For years, I was trying so hard to lose weight. I tried every plan you can think of. You know, I wasn't really eating that much, and I was doing like these shakes and
Mhm.
exercising, and it just wasn't working. So I was like, well, forget it, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, is that diets don't usually work. And if your body's not healing, if it's not where it needs to be, if it's not healthy, you could be walking around. Think of your car. Okay. So you have this old car, it's got a little rust on it, but it still runs, right? You know, it still goes, but it's not that pretty, or it can break down real easily. Think of your health like that. Like, your health needs to be in top shape. Otherwise you can still function, but you're not necessarily at your best. So, and that's actually what the SHAPE program, the SHAPE Reclaimed program, goes through, the one that I'm a practitioner for. It is a food plan. There's a food plan with it. There's also what's called SHAPE drops, which is a homeopathic remedy there's a lot of different herbs and adaptogens and everything in there. I can't even explain to you all of them because there's so many. And we also use urinalysis, so your body never goes into starvation mode. So you can lose weight on it, but that's not a weight loss program. So what happens is it helps your body heal itself. It helps your body recalibrate and balance. And then when that happens, you'll lose weight naturally.
Right. Yep.
So
that's exactly what happened with me.
Yep.
And I have incorporated a lot of fresh herbs in my food, well, not food regimen, but like teas.
Yeah.
I incorporated a lot of herbs that heal, like thyme, in my food when I'm cooking.
Yep.
And so, you know, just learning about those different types of herbs and what they do and their benefits and how you can incorporate them in cooking was very beneficial for me.
Yeah. A lot of people forget about herbs, and they have so many health benefits.
Yep.
And, you know, and you want to try to go as organic as possible. I know that it can be a little bit more expensive in some things, but there's a website called, it's Environmental World Group, and they have a list called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So the Dirty Dozen is 12, and it changes every year. It's 12 fruits and vegetables, produce, that has the most amount of pesticides on them. And then the Clean 15 is something that you can get away with getting conventional and not organic. But just by going by strictly organic, you can actually lower your toxin load, your toxin load by like 70 or more %.
Wow.
Just by doing that.
Wow. Yeah. I would say, and tell me if I'm wrong, Mrs. Kramer, I would say that not having access to those diverse herbs, plants, vegetables is more of a Western culture issue than it is anywhere else in the world. Like places like Africa and South America, I mean, that's all they use. That's all they cook with every day. Even the Caribbean areas and cultures as well, because my husband is Jamaican, and I mean, from day one, he's chopping up vegetables, sometimes even fruits, and we're cooking that with our proteins and veggies and all this. But for me, growing up here, it wasn't like that. It was everything was very just plain. You made the protein, it's just a protein with some type of sodium, and then your starch and your veggie, and that's all you got. No offense, fam, but I just
the standard American diet is horrible for you.
Yeah, that was my experience as well.
But I grew up on the standard American diet. We were all overweight. We all ate till we were overfull. You know, it was just horribly bad for you. But you grow up with that, and you just don't know. The standard American diet is horrible.
Yes.
Like going through the grocery store, I go with my husband, and they don't eat like I do. They're eating like Hot Pockets and pizza, you know, things like that I can't have at all. And it takes me like 15 minutes to be done with my shopping, and then I'm sitting there waiting for them for like 45 to try and figure out what they're getting. And our cart is like mounded, and my stuff is like this little corner, you know. Crazy.
That is my exact experience when it comes to me shopping for my children compared to myself.
Yeah.
Because I can't eat certain things anymore.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not alone.
You're not alone at all. Not alone.
Well, we want to thank you, Ms. Kramer. Before we end this segment, please let everybody know where they can find your website, where they need to follow you, any additional information you want the audience to know.
Sure. Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram handle is ckramercoaching. And my website is kind of under construction. If you go to ckramercoaching.com, it's there. There's not really a contact form on there. I would say sending me an Instagram message would probably be the best way to reach me. And the Facebook page is Living Lighter Health Coaching.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So this month is Women's History Month. So it's an honor to do this show with you ladies. Ms. Kramer, you're awesome. You taught me, and I'm sure Asia as well, a lot.
Yes.
The audience included. So make sure you guys check out this segment. Go follow Ms. Kramer. She's doing a lot of great things. You caught my attention right away.
Thank you.
And I found you on Instagram, and I didn't look back. I was like, I have to have you on the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes, we thank you again for being a special guest. And for everybody that's tuned in, make sure you like, comment, and share. We're going to have more great guests, but make sure you go follow Ms. Kramer, guys, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning into the Sistas Talk Podcast. We'll see you.
Have a good night.